Okay, I think we are on part 14. If my memory is correct, I kind of slacked off on these, trying to get back to it. Just going to continue where we were in the B section. We have Battle Lore with Doombound. I know I showed two other Battle Lore albums in the previous video, so this is the last one that I own. They just did not fit on that. This one did not fit on that section of the shelf, so it got dumped into this video. But I mean, Battlelore is pretty good. Not a band that I'm going to listen to all the time. I don't listen to them nearly as much now as I used to, but pretty good stuff nonetheless. Next up, we have some folky death metal. I absolutely adore this album. I wore this album out. It has a little bit of a crack on the case just from it being in transport to the truck to the car that I had at the time to the truck. I've had this album for several years. It came out in 2010. I believe I purchased it in 2011. That was a mouthful. This is Battle Soul with Lay Down Thy Burdens. This is really good folk metal that hinges on melodic death metal. I have not listened to this in a while now. I almost burnt myself out on this in the past because I listened to it so much. But now that I'm sitting here holding it and showing it, I kind of want to listen to it again. So I may do that at some point today if time allows. This was released on CDN Records. Fantastic folky death metal. If you're into folk metal, if you're into melodic death, check out Battle Soul, especially that album. I think you'll like it. Next up, this is probably my least favorite Battle Soul album. This is Tiernanog, I believe is how you pronounce that. I was super excited about this release when it was coming out, and it came out in 2013 just because I loved Lay Down Thy Burdens. I think I put some unreasonable expectations on this album to myself. Maybe that's why I was a bit disappointed with it. It's not a terrible album by any means. I mean, it is pretty decent. I still like it enough to have it in the collection, but at the time it was definitely uh, a bit of a letdown to me just because I had enjoyed the previous album so much. And then we have Sunward and Starward, I believe is I don't know if you guys heard that something crazy going on outside. I don't know what that noise is. Yeah, but here we have Battle Soul with Sunward and Starward. I really dug this one. This one hasn't been out too terribly long. Came out in 2017. I did enjoy this one quite a bit. It's almost like a redemption album. I'm looking forward. I hope they do some more material um, in the future because I really dig their style of kind of melodic, deathy folk metal. I know I've said that already, but good stuff. Next up, this one was thrown in as a freebie on another purchase that I made. This is Battletoad with their self-titled Battletoad. This is kind of tongue-in-cheek, kind of almost black and death metal sound, very death metal, almost grindy at times as well. I haven't just spun this just too terribly much. It was limited to only 30 copies, so it was pretty limited freebie to get in something like that. But I don't really just have a ton to say about it. I haven't spent just that picture's hilarious. Well, both of those pictures on the back, but something I may need to spend some more time with. Maybe do a feature. Maybe if I ever get around to doing another Seven Deadly Spins video, I'll throw that on there. Next up, we have some death metal out of Chicago. This is Bear Mace with Butchering the Colossus. This one was pretty good. This was my introduction to Bear Mace. I believe this is their debut full length. It's pretty good. I didn't pull the trigger on this when it first came out. Andrew, a buddy of mine on Facebook, and he follows this channel and stuff. Show me where their new release was coming out, and I dug that one, so I went ahead and backtracked and picked this one up as well. It's not bad; it's pretty good. But their sophomore album was phenomenal. This one is Charred Field of Slaughter, fantastic death metal, kind of that. This was right when the OSDM was really taking off again, picking up, and this album right here really scratches that itch. Came out last year, first part of last year, and I dug it so much I had to go back and get the predecessor. So good stuff there from Bear Mace. I also got the shirt. I did like the little bundle with the shirt and the CD. Looking forward, the progression of the band from that debut to this was kind of mesmerizing how much they'd improved. So I'm definitely looking forward to hearing some more material from Bear Mace in the future. I think they've made a believer out of me. Next up is one that Rick from the Dreadful Minute sent me. This is Beastmaker with their EP entitled "Eye of the Storm." This is the only Beastmaker album that I own, or release that I own. I definitely will probably be changing that in the very near future. I really dug this little EP. Has members of Haunt. Actually, I think I may at this point like Beastmaker more than Haunt, and that's kind of what I was scared of. That's why it took me so long to check out this project, but I really dig that and need to be adding some more to the collection now. Next up, this is not metal. This is Beast Milk with Climax. Kind of, this is hard for me to explain. This came out on Magic Bullet Records. They have a ton. Well, they're no more. Magic Bullet Records is now defunct, but they had a ton of hardcore and some punk type stuff. This falls into that punky category. Kinda, not so much. Very gothy type stuff. It's pretty good. I really dig this. I actually own this on vinyl as well, so I guess I could say it's very good. Sean Count Blagareth, he was a pretty big proponent of this album back in the day, and I dig it. Next up, we have some kind of death chorus death metal. This is Becoming Ak. This particular release, Beholder, came out on Transcending Records in 2016. I knew it had been out a while, back when Transcending was really starting to take off. I'm excited about their brick and mortar store that they have coming sometime in the near future. I will have to take a road trip and go visit Mike and company at Transcending Records. Speaking of Becoming Ak, getting back to on track. Becoming Ak is really stellar. Death metal. Early on, it had a bit more deathcore-ish vibes going on, but they're kind of Chris is kind of developing this really awesome sound, death metal sound going forward. Next up is a split. It's a Becoming Ak, Congregation of Snakes, and Despondent, A Light Shining in Darkness. Kind of promo split, little demo. This was also given out. I think Mike from Transcending sent this to me with an order. And then I have the newest release from Becoming Ak. I am missing at least one full length in there. This one is the Apophis Solution. And Chris had a little thing going on Bandcamp at one point. I think I got this for like $2 plus shipping. And I mean, can't pass that up. Good stuff here. It's 2 disc. There's the inside, and then there's the other disc. Good stuff there. Next up, I have a demo. I don't remember much about this at all. It was from 2015. It's Becoming the Nightmare 2015 demo. It's on a CDR. Made 25 of these. I have to revisit that. I don't remember just a ton about it. I had forgotten all about it until I pulled it off of the shelf for this video, actually. Next up, we have some doom metal out of North Carolina, I believe. This is Bedouin with Blood of the Fall. Absolutely hate the fact that this is in this little digi wallet because I love that artwork. I love this album too. It's very good doom metal. Teeters on stonery type doom at times, but I really dig this. I got this right when I was first discovering Bandcamp and getting into Bandcamp, and this is one of my early purchases. This came out in 2015, and I was mesmerized. I think I've already used that word in this video once, but we'll use it again by this release. Still glad to have the copy of that. I hope they put out Another full length sometime in the future. Next up, this one's in a cracked case, but I just got this in not too long ago from Paragon Records, so I haven't had a chance to change the case out. This is the debut EP from Bedsore, kind of progressive death metal. Bedsore is pretty phenomenal. This is a pretty decent little EP, and you can find this thing for super cheap anywhere. So if you see it for sale, it's usually $5 or less. Pick it up. I got this from Paragon for $5, and it's definitely worth the $5 price tag. I mean, it's just a little short death metal EP, but it is stellar work. Um, really got into Bedsore on this one that I'm going to show. This came out on 20 bucks spin. It's entitled Hypnagogic Hallucinations. I believe I didn't butcher that too bad. This came out, man. It seemed like there was a point where 20 bucks spin was releasing just banger album after banger album. It was so hard to keep up. There was so much good material all at once coming out from 20 bucks spin right there in just a short period of time. This one, it took me a minute to get my hands on it because I was buying other stuff they were releasing at the time. Then I was kind of mad that it took me so long to pick this up because it is phenomenal. This is just, it's got some technicality going on in the death metal. Not overly progressive. Don't let that scare you away. Just well performed. The musicianship on this is pretty stellar as well. So I'm pretty sure if you're into death metal and you haven't heard Bedsore and you check this out, you will be a proponent for that album just like I am. Next up, we have some metalcore. I don't remember a whole lot about this. I purchased this several years ago in a Facebook group. One of the guys that's in this band was in that group and was selling these. This is Before I Go with I Can Feel You in My Skin. Said I really don't remember just a ton about this. A lot of these little cardboard sleeves kind of just get lost in the shuffle in the collection because you don't really notice them too much on the CD shelf. So unless I'm actively seeking out one of these, I really just don't grab one when I'm just grabbing something random and throwing it in the CD player. But I think it was pretty decent for what I remember. I just don't remember a ton about it. Next up, we have some death metal out of Canada. This is Begrime Exemius, I believe is how you pronounce that, with the Enslavement Conquest. This is stellar death metal. It has little hinges of black metal here and there, but this is a phenomenal release. This was released on Dark Descent. I'm not sure the year that this came out. This is another album that you can find pretty cheap from time to time. This is the only release from this project that I own. I probably need to seek out some more of their material. The drumming on this is what really stood out to me as being phenomenal. Now we have some more death metal. This is just blistering, grimy, nasty stuff. This is a Beheading Machine with Stillbirth, the Stillbirth Civilization. I don't know why there's I guess that has a THC. I thought that said the Stillbirth Civilization from Beheading Machine. Fast paced, blistering, nasty death metal. Um, there's the THC. I guess I guess these guys smoke a lot of weed because it's all over the album. Next up, we have some ambient, experimental type black metal. I don't even think this band is listed in Metal Archives. This is Beheat Germ de Mintheral. Yeah, I butchered that and I apologize. With the Frostbitten Path. I blind bought this a few years ago. I mean, it's not bad. It's just kind of ambient. It's got some good parts to this, but it's not something that I just find myself reaching for just too terribly often. But just kind of the ambience. I mean, you get what you can look at that artwork and stuff, and you can kind of envision in your mind what you're getting out of that. Moving on. Next up, we're going to hit a nice little stack of Behemoth. First up is one of my favorite. The first two are probably my two favorite Behemoth releases. They're both demos. This is Behemoth with the Return of the Northern Moon. This is when Behemoth was full-fledged black metal. These are reissues, obviously, in the little slip cases. There's the actual digipack. Same artwork. I like that silver and black that they've got going on these. Uh, Black metal against all trends. I find that a little silly coming from Behemoth because they are a very trendy band. So funny how time changes. Um, Time changes people. Time changes bands. It happens. And then we have Behemoth with this is my favorite release from Behemoth. This is from the Pagan Vastlands. This is definitely the most listened to for me personally Behemoth release. And then on the inside, black metal is not a trend, it's a cult. I find that funny as well, as black metal has become very, very trendy. This one got butchered up in transit. Unfortunately, you can see the crack and stuff there. Not much I can do about that with it being in the little digipack, but it is what it is. It's still at least the music itself was not injured, and that's the important thing because that's what I'm in it for. And then we have "And the Forest Dream Eternally" by Behemoth. This one has, as you can see, has had heavy use as well. This is almost 20 years old. Just it happens. Next up, we have Demigod from Behemoth. This is when they're kind of in that full-fledged death metal, blackened death metal, when they've moved on from just straightforward black metal. They started going into that blackened death territory. Still has the old Century Media order form in there. I don't think Behemoth is really. I haven't heard a Behemoth album that I really just hate. I don't own all of them, obviously, as you'll see going through this, but there's some that I'm going to like more than others. I have the Slaves Shall Serve EP. I got this for next to nothing. I don't remember much about this one. I haven't spent a lot of time with this release at all. I think I spun that like one time after it came in, and then we have the as Eschaton, I believe is how you pronounce that. I'm sorry. I'm sure somebody just threw something at the screen or flipped me off, yelled at me, whatever. This is another one that I haven't spent just a ton of time with, admittedly. Next up is another one that I do dig. This is Evangelion, and this is more of a Behemoth with their blackened death metal. I felt like on this one they hinged a bit more back to the blackened side of things. Maybe that's why I like this release a bit more. This one is autographed by the band, so that's pretty cool. And it's the 2 discs. It has the album, and then it has a bonus DVD. I don't remember. I think it's got like a making of the album on the DVD, but I don't remember too much about that. Then we have, in my opinion, the most overrated Behemoth album out there. This is The Satanist. This one was very, very overplayed, in my opinion. This is the little book. I don't know how many different versions they had of this, but this is kind of the little digi book that has the disc up here and that little sleeve just begging to get scratched. I don't have to worry about it getting scratched. This is probably the least reached for Behemoth in my collection. I didn't get the hype behind that release. It still has the little mirror thing on the front. I'm not going to pull it off to reveal that other artwork. It would probably ruin the digi case because it's been stuck on there for so long. And then I was not going to pick up their newest full length, and I had a buddy of mine send me a care package and put it in there, and I'm glad he did because I enjoyed this quite a bit more than I was expecting, especially after not really enjoying the Satanist. I was excited for the Satanist, the hype around it, and I listened to it, and it just felt like hyped for. It was a letdown. This one was actually pretty good, and I know a lot of people were frowned upon this release upon its release, but I actually like it. This is "I Loved You at Your Darkest" from Behemoth. It is still in the slipcase. Show the back where it has Behemoth there on the back. And there's the artwork. Very dark artwork. It's kind of hard for my camera to pick that up, but I enjoyed this one. I know the reviewers on Metal Archives when this came out were ruthless, but that's kind of how they are. A lot of those reviewers on there, I don't take a lot of stock in anything they have to say because they have some pretty piss poor taste. So I guess I should start writing reviews on there to give a little bit better personal perspective on some of this stuff. Maybe some differing ideas from some other people's that are on there. Next up, we have some sludgy, kind of atmospheric type sludgy metal. This is Bedlam with Pasong. This was released on Horror, Pain, Gore, Death back in 2018. Stellar stuff. I want to pick up some more releases from. I think they have one other full length, and then possibly like an EP. I want to pick up at least their other full length because I dug this album a lot. I just never get. I have so much stuff in my want list that it's insane. If I had everything in my want list in my collection, everything that I wanted, I wouldn't be able to live in this house because there would just be music everywhere. Next up, we have some more metalcore. This is kind of deathcore, metalcore hybrid. This is Belima Burial with their self-titled. I believe this one's self-titled. I know at one point these discs were very rare, kind of hard to pick up. I think someone found like a case of them or something somewhere. Now they're not so much so. I know just at one point it was impossible to get your hands on these, but that doesn't seem to be the case now. And then this is my favorite from Belima Burial. This is A Pale Beyond. I don't listen to a whole lot of metalcore and deathcore, just a ton anymore. I mean, I'm not knocking it or anything. It's just at a point where I just don't find myself reaching for it just too terribly much. This one is numbered 38 out of 80. Like I said, I know they were hard to. I don't know if this one was numbered or not. No. Next up, we have some thrash metal. This is Believer with Gabriel. This is thrash metal. It's got the little sticky stuff at the top from where they used to put the security tags on there. This was released on Metal Blade Records. Metal Blade puts out some pretty good thrash over the years. Sacred Reich. I'm a big Sacred Reich fan. Gabriel, this album's pretty good. Kind of Christian themed, I believe. Um, Kind of technical thrash and progressive at times. But I dig this one. I actually have the shirt. Um, I went and purchased a shirt from this release. This is another one that kind of got knocked around on Metal Archives as well, and I was pretty against a lot of the reviews on this because I actually dug that release. Obviously, I dug it enough that I went and bought a shirt for the album. Then the last album that I'm going to show is the only Bell Witch release that I own. It is their debut full length entitled Longing. For me, this is the best Bell Witch release. It is the only one that really doesn't bore me to tears. This one is also pretty hard to come by, but I dig this one quite a bit. I got a super deal on this. I think I got this for like $4, which is unheard of. This was released on Profound Lore, and I was super stoked when I got my hands on this. I may revisit some of the newer Bell Witch stuff in the future. I just know I wasn't super impressed upon first listens to those, but that happens sometimes. And then when you revisit, you enjoy it more than what you remembered. But that's all for this one. I think I've taken up enough of your time, 25 minutes. I don't know when I'll get the next one up, but we'll slowly get this CD collection chipped away. So, till next time, stay classy.